love animals. When I was young, we always had many animals in our house, and so I used to spend most of my days playing with them. As the years passed, I grew into a quiet gentleman, and my love for animals grew too. I found that they were more friendly, more honest than most men. Animals were always my best friends.
I got married when I was quite young. Luckily, my wife loved animals too, and she used to buy me many animals as present. Our house was always full of animals. We have birds, fish, a dog, chicken, and a cat.
The cat we called Pluto was a black cat. He was beautiful and clever. I loved Pluto more than the other animals. I used to play with him, give him his food, and he'd follow me everywhere I went.
As the time passed, I became a heavy drinker. I was often angry and violent. I began to shout at my wife. My animals felt the change in me. I was even cruel to them. But I was never cruel to Pluto. As time passed, my disease grew worse, and soon even Pluto was not safe from my violence.
One night, I arrived home late. I was very drunk. When Pluto saw me, he tried to run away, and this made me angry. I caught him by his neck and shot him. He, in his fright, bit me on the hand. Slowly, I took a knife from my pocket, opened it, and then carefully cut out one of Pluto's eyes from its socket. Every time I remember that day, I still feel sadness and pain. When I woke up the next morning, I felt ashamed of what I had done, but this feeling wasn't strong enough to make me change my life.
As the months passed, Pluto got better, but no, surprisingly, he used to run away from me when he saw me. At first, I was sad to saw when he ran away animal which had once to love me. Then I began to feel a little angry.
One morning, I woke, found a rope and calmly tied it round Pluto's neck. Then I hung the poor animal from a tree and left it there to die.
The same night, we had a fire in our house. My wife and I ran out of this house as fast as we could. The house and almost everything in it was destroyed.
The next day, I went back, and in the only wall of the house there was still standing, I saw a huge cat. Not a real cat, but the shape of a cat. It was as clear as a picture. I could even see a rope around the animal's neck.
As the days passed, the strange shape on the wall still worried me. I thought about the cat day and night. I started walking around the streets at night looking at all the cats to see if I could find another one like Pluto.
One night, I was drinking in a bar when I saw a large black cat. It also looked very like Pluto, except for one thing. Pluto had been black all over, but this cat had a white mark on its front.
I touched him and I immediately laid down again my leg and seemed very friendly toward me.
So I took the cat home. My wife liked it immediately, and it stayed with us from that day. But soon, I don't know why, the cat started to make me angry. And as time passed, I began to hate it, and it always tried to keep as far away from it as possible.
Every time I sat down,
it used to jump into my knees. When I went out of a room, it used to run out in front of me and get between my feet or climb up my leg. This time I want to kill it, but I didn't because I was too afraid of the cat and even more afraid of the white mark on the chest. Became this mark chained into a rope around the neck.
As each day passed, my fear grew and grew. I could get no rest. I had the most terrible dream, and my mind turned to dark.
One day, my wife and I needed to get something from the cellar underneath the house. The cat followed us down the step and threw itself in front of me. I took hold of an axe and tried to kill the animal, but my wife cuffed my arm to stop me. One day, my wife and I needed to get something from the cellar underneath the house. The cat followed us down the step and threw itself in front of me. I took hold of an axe and tried to kill the animal, but my wife cuffed my arm to stop me. And then the anger exploded in my mind. I turned and dropped the axe deep into her head. She fell dead on the floor without sound.
After this horrible murder, I can calmly make plans to hide the body. I thought of a good idea. I decided to hide the body behind the walls of the cellar. I started to work at once. I took out some of the bricks from the front wall and carefully put the body against the back wall. Then I put back the bricks and covered them with planter.
I then looked around for the cat to kill it. I looked for everywhere, but I had disappeared. I was freed at last. That night I had to deep, peaceful sleep.
3 days passed and still the cat didn't appear. I was now a happy man, happier than I had been for a long time. I wasn't worried by what I had done. People had asked a few questions and the police had visited my house, but they had found nothing. On the 4th day, the police visited again and began to search the house. They looked into all the rooms and then went down into the cellar. They seemed quite happy that there was nothing there, and they got ready to leave, but I want to say something, just a word or two to show how unworried I was.
Gentlemen, I said, I'm pleased that you have found nothing here and that you are now leaving this house. But let me show you something. Do you see how well built is this house? These walls are very strong. As I said these words, I knocked the wall with a stick. At that moment, we heard a sound. It was like a cry rising from hell. The police ran to the wall and started pulling out the bricks. In minutes, the wall was down, and into the wall was the body of my dead wife. On top of her head, with a red, open mouth and one burning eye, sat the black cat, the animal which had made me a murderer and which would now send me to my death. I had put the horrible thing into the wall, alive with my wife. The end.